I'm Mike.
And I'm Matt.
And this is The Coin Show.
Pausing for... We got the people watching the video know what's going on.
Well, we're kind of putting a spot in there so I can slip the theme music in.
Ah. Well, now they know. And they're not just thinking that we're weird, just sitting here staring at each other, looking at each other.
Well, they couldn't hear the music either, but both of us were dancing.
Yes.
To our own beat.
We heard the music.
Sure we did.
All right.
On this episode of The Coin Show, we will answer a couple of listener questions, maybe one or two. I'm going to review a guidebook of Lincoln Cents. It's right here. And we'll talk about the coolest thing to walk into Matt's shop this week. But first, as always, the news.
The news, my favorite part.
Let's see. Give me 1 second. This episode of The Coin Show is brought to you by our patrons who support us in everything that we do. You can become a patron too. It's easy. Just go to www.patreon.com/thecoinshow and you can make a contribution. There are more than 4 tiers of patrons that you can join, and they start as low as $1 a month. The news, on the other hand, is brought to you by excuses. For whenever it really sucks to own something, use excuses. Everybody's doing it. You should too.
Oh, that's a good one. I love these. These are my new favorite thing about this show.
I decided to really ramp up. That's what we're doing. We're ramping up.
That was a good one. I like that one.
Thanks
a lot.
CoinNews.net is reporting that the U.S. Mint coin production for May 2019 was the lowest single month in over 5 years. So 5 years of production. Mint has been averaging over 1 billion coins a month, with the exception of December last year, and that's likely because of Silver Eagle production. But the biggest decline is in quarter production. And they're making more quarters than ever this year, and demand for the new coins has been really high. So, I would expect a lull in demand for quarters later this year, after they've created all these the 2019 W's and the S's and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, I was just sitting here looking at the website that has all that info on it. That's weird.
I know it's just strange that they've been making $1.5 billion, billion 2, and then less than 500,000 in May, or less than 500 million in May.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things,
well, 500 million coins.
That's still a ton of coins, but yeah.
So an interesting note that CoinNews.net includes is that typically the Native American dollars and the Kennedy halves are generally no longer minted for circulation, but only for collectors, and thus are generally all minted in January to fill the expected demand throughout the year. This year's Native American dollar has a space-related theme, and this has created an extra demand for these coins to the tune of 140,000 additional Denver minted coins. So they've actually had to make more of them. There is a demand for this coin.
Cool. Well, that's always good to hear.
Yeah. Even if it's modern.
Well.
3 lucky winners have split the cash reward for finding and submitting the first War in the Pacific National Park quarters to PCGS for grading.
Cool. Yeah, I still like this program. I still think it's fun, and I like the way the grading companies are kind of playing along with the bounties or whatever they call them.
Well, PCGS is doing. Is NGC doing it?
No, NGC had some custom labels. They
have custom labels, right?
So,
and that's kind of cool.
It's all right.
With the Lowell quarters, there were 2 of them that split it. I think with the American Memorial Park, there were 2 as well.
I don't know.
With this one, it was split 3 ways. So Numismatic News reports that the winners came from Georgia, Kentucky, and Utah, and that one of the coins has graded MS-67.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of the war in the Pacific, America the Beautiful Quarter, the world's largest quarter dollars, the 5-ounce hockey pucks are now available.
48th coin. That's the first thing that gets me on that website is 48th America the Beautiful design available.
Well, 48th out of 50.
50. So
No,
50
out of 56.
56, yeah.
Because there's the territories in there too. So yeah, this has been the long-awaited discussion on are they going to do a second round of America the Beautiful quarters? What are they going to do with? Because they're going to do another program with the quarters.
Right.
They're just going to. That's what they do.
That's their bag of chips these days.
I kind of like it. I think that it definitely gets a lot of new designs out,
Yeah.
and the typical concern is that they don't want to create too many designs because then it makes our money difficult to distinguish. But I think they've definitely gotten past that.
Yeah, as long as they leave Washington's head on one side, people can figure out it's a quarter.
Yeah. So the 5-ounce, the world's largest quarters, the 5-ounce hockey pucks, are selling for the low price of $154.95. Works out to a price of only $31 an ounce.
Well,
Well, here's the thing. I understand that these are not a bullion vehicle, but I don't think anybody knows exactly what they are.
They're just fun to have, I think.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the thing. It's like a giant medallion, but they're overpriced. They've always been overpriced. Silver's never gotten anywhere near what people have in these things, so I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't really get it either, to be honest with you.
Something that I do get is the U.S. and the United States Mint and Canada have collaborated on the Pride of Two Nations 2019 limited edition 2-coin set.
That's kind of cool.
It is actually very cool. This set is scheduled for a July 3rd release, which falls in between both countries' days of independence, Canada Day being July 1st and July 4th being our Independence Day. The set will be exclusive with a 2019 enhanced reverse proof Silver Eagle. Now, I don't know how you get an enhanced reverse proof.
It sounds like fancy sales tactics to me.
But nonetheless, it'll be a reverse proof. And so, in order to complete your set of reverse proofs, you're going to need one of these.
Yeah.
Okay, there's only going to be 100,000 of them made, and there's going to be demand across 2 countries.
Could be something worth picking up. Do we know what the issue price is?
Let's see. Let me look and see if I can see it.
I don't think that.
It's not priced yet, or at least
it
not
is.
according.
Yeah, it is.
$139.95.
$139.95.
$139.95 US.
About $185 Canadian.
Right. So that's that's 2 ounces of silver. So that's definitely not a bullion vehicle.
No.
But like I said, you're going to need this for your reverse proof Silver Eagle collection, and if you're one of those that collects all the special issue Eagles,
right,
this is going to be something that you're going to have. So I see the flippers coming out in droves for this.
Oh God, yeah, for sure.
And that's going to kind of wreck it for other people, which sucks. And it's just generally something I poo-poo.
That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, Mike. I hate to say it.
Sure. So the set will have an enhanced reverse proof American Silver Eagle and a modified proof Maple Leaf coin with a serrated edge.
Serrated edge?
Yeah, serrated edge. Now, I was thinking about that, and I'm like, what the heck is a serrated edge? Because serrated edge, the only thing I can think of is a knife.
Right.
It's kind of scalloped.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know.
I'm looking, they have a picture of it on their website, and it's kind of hard to make it out. Oh, wait, let's take a look.
Hey.
I can see the reverse enhanced or reverse enhanced proof looks interesting. But serrated edge, I mean, honestly, just looks like a reeded edge.
Oh, I see what they did that made it an enhanced reverse proof.
Yeah. I mean, it looks interesting.
Oh my God! No. Here's the thing. So you know what this sets off again? This is another one of those that's going to look like the enhanced uncirculated Silver Eagle. Mm-hmm. That you see the detail in the flag.
Mm-hmm.
It's alternating stripes of frost and not, and the stars are mirrored, and the field is frosted, and that's going to be a really, really nice coin.
Looks interesting, for sure.
Dude, I put out, $150 for the enhanced uncirculated Silver Eagle with the, it came with the reverse proof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know. I'm going to have to get on to this one.
Mike's in.
Yeah, Mike's in. At 140, I'm in.
I heard that one in your voice, for sure.
Yeah, this coin sucks. Everybody should leave it alone.
Don't buy this.
Don't buy
it at all. Oh, that's funny. Mike wants it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think the flippers are gonna.
Well, yeah. Really, I mean, it looks freaking
they're gonna
cool.
rack it.
I'm gonna buy 5. Sorry.
Yeah, and then you're gonna dump them as quickly as you possibly can.
Probably.
That's what I'm gonna do. You buy 5, you dump 4, you get your 1 for free, and walk away and just do like that.
Yeah.
So issue is limited to 100,000 sets. I expect that it'll be a quick sellout. That enhanced reverse proof from West Point. Another rarity has been recovered from the SS Central America.
Oh, that ship just keeps on giving, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is the gift that keeps on giving in numismatics. So this coin was salvaged from the ship's purser's iron lockbox, according to a story by CoinWeek, and was recently cataloged, graded, and sent to CAC. Now think about this. Okay, so it's an 1856 S dime. There were only 70,000 of them minted, and there's only 11 known in uncirculated condition.
Wow.
This coin spent over 150 years underwater.
At the bottom of the ocean.
And came up MS65 CAC.
Wow. Well, I mean, the thing with these coins and a lot of this stuff in the Central America is a lot of this stuff was like in big clumps or big groups, and the stuff on the outside just got absolutely roasted. But on the inside, a lot of that stuff was actually okay, or could be conserved to be okay. So it's actually kind of interesting to see that coin come up, because that's probably just the perfect storm of circumstances kept that coin to be where where it can be in that condition.
But 150 years underwater and 65. And honestly, it's like the CAC sticker. John Albanese called the coin a beautiful frosty gem. But now, it was conserved by the time it got to him either way.
Right, but the thing is, even the gold coins that come out of that ship, I mean, a lot of those big coins are super high grade too. There's tons of 65s, and finest known examples have come out of the Central America. So,
well, yeah, and you know what else came from the Central America?
What's that?
Something else coming up later in the news.
Ooh,
that's a tease.
You ready for another tease?
Sure.
Maybe something else in the coolest thing. Ooh, maybe we'll just have a Central America episode.
So, expect this coin to bring absolute moon money at auction.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
It's
a 65. It's the finest known.
Right. I mean, yeah. It's awesome. Super cool.
Everybody's happy about that except for the people that own the finest known.
Right.
The American Numismatic Association will present the 2019 World's Fair of Money in Chicago, August 13th through the 17th.
I'm going to be there.
Yes, these shows are the ultimate experience for anyone at any level in this hobby, featuring lectures, luncheons, exhibits, and, of course, millions of dollars of coins in coins for sale on the Bourse floor. So, yes, I'm going to be there. You're going to be there. Everybody who is around Chicago that has an interest in coins should be there.
Right.
A&A member or not, cost you $5 to get into this show, and it is the biggest show you will ever see. It's gigantic.
It's huge, and I'm just sitting here scrolling through all the different, just a few things they have listed here. There's a ton more.
Well, it's funny because my brother and I, we used to go to a lot of shows together. Mm-hmm. And when we would go, it's like both of us, we knew coins a little bit better than the average guy, and we just kind of wanted to look. We didn't really want to be messed around with a whole lot with guys trying to sell us stuff. So what my brother would do is guys would come up to him and he'd say, "Hey, you looking for anything?" He'd be like, "Yeah, bust dollars," and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any," and they kind of walk away, and that'd be the end of that. The problem is you can't even do that at the A&A.
Oh, heck no! You can. Every dealer's got those.
Okay, yeah, I got bust dollars. What kind do you want?
They grab a box and they're like, "Where'd I put those?"
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely insane, the stuff that you will see there. I have now been to 4 or 5 of them, and they are by far the best shows to go to.
Oh, they're fun. They're so much fun. I love those shows.
Yeah, we did our show live from a couple of them. Yep. It was a really great time. The ANA was really, really good to us. They're a great time. I cannot recommend that show highly enough to people.
I agree.
So, finally in the news, do you remember our show at the World's Fair of Money?
Well, yeah.
Of
course. How do I forget that?
Okay, well, we interviewed Christine Karstedt from Stack's Bowers.
That's right.
And she was talking about one of her personal interests, Harrison Marchand bars from the SS Central America. So Chris Karstedt actually tracks these bars when they sell, and she told some pretty fascinating stories of the 38 bars that are known to exist, and now she has another one to track.
Cool. Another one comes up.
Another one came up.
Are we sure it's new?
It is new. A 25.18 ounce Harrison Marchand bar will be auctioned this year at the World's Fair of Money in Chicago. Bar is numbered 6542, is 0.893 fine gold, and at the time of the shipwreck was valued at just over $470.
Wow. And 2 cents. Don't forget that.
Well, I said just over 470 pounds. So, yeah, it's 25.18 ounces. But, yeah, apparently they missed it with the first recovery of the Harrison Marchand bars. So, yes, this is a new one. I still think that the count of 38 is how many went down on the Central America. So I don't think that the count has gone up. I just think that we now know where one more of them is.
That's pretty awesome.
And that was kind of the thing that always struck me about Chris Karstedt was she was really cool about the fact that she didn't collect coins, she collected people. And she was very fond of the people that she dealt with some of these really rare collectibles over the years, and the fond relationships that she had created with them. But she has a personal a journal on these Harrison Marchand bars, and she knows where I think 31 of them are, as far as who owns them. And when this one goes up for auction, of course, she's going to as well. So,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So this bar was discovered during the second exploration of the shipwreck in 2014.
I love that. That's my kind of stuff. Treasure
hunts. Yep. Doesn't get more buried treasure than that.
Nope, not at all.
So that's the news, and the news was brought to you by excuses. Whenever it really sucks to own something, use excuses. Everybody's doing it. You should too.
I love it.
So Matt, let's see. We have some listener questions. If you want to go with that today.
I'm always in for listener questions.
Yeah, we got a couple. Let's see.
Let's do it.
Oh, here Jimmy Wiles is saying thank you for the shout out to Thumbtacks.
Well, who doesn't like Thumbtacks? They're so useful.
They're awesome. But he also has a huge industry question. So here's the question of the day that may take some time, and Matt may have a huge opinion on.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
Yeah. Shoot. So Jimmy Wiles says, at a recent coin show, I was buying and selling some of my collection to raise funds to work on finishing my Lincoln Cents collection, including some AU-58 versions of the Lincolns that I wish to upgrade into the set for the earlier years. What I noticed is that many of the dealers were not interested in my coins at all, and also didn't carry any numismatic coins at all. I've seen this trend coming, but I'm disappointed that so many dealers will leave out numismatics in favor of bullion and round and bars. Obviously, the new moon landing coins were popular, but I fail to see why we would even call it a coin show when the majority of the inventory among hundreds of dealers was primarily bullion and general gold and silver. They are They also are pushing hard 90% constitutional silver as if it is the investment of a lifetime. Thoughts? Is this numismatic market crumbling? Is it going to revive? And is the wave of intrinsic content a permanent fixture we have to deal with?
Interesting question. Well, I mean, the way I look at this particular situation is, you have to think about the fact that right now gold is at a 6-year high, I believe, and silver it's not at a yearly high, but it is up over the last few weeks and months. So I think what you're going to run into is just exactly that. I think you're going to see dealers that do have larger spreads of bullion because honestly, that's where the money's at right now. And, you know, it may get a little harder to find what you're looking for. I don't know what kind of show you go to because I haven't really necessarily noticed that as a trend at the shows that I've been doing, the more local or regional shows. But there are definitely, you know, at the shows I do, specific dealers that literally just set up with nothing but bullion, and that's fine. That's their niche, and let them have it. But you know, when we do a show, I think the smallest show I do, we have 4 or 5 cases, and I have about half of one display case that has bullion in it. And the rest of it's full of collector stuff, just because that's what we do in our business. You know, we buy and sell bullion, of course. We buy and sell a lot of bullion. But at the shows, I think, you know, my spread at least is still mainly numismatic and collectibles. So,
well, I think that one of the other factors that plays into it is also going to be the crowd that is at this type of show. So, I mean, what is in demand at these shows?
Right.
If people are coming to buy bullion, you're going to see a lot of bullion at the dealers' tables. But the one thing that you got to keep in mind is that, you know, a lot of dealers can't pack up half their shop to bring with them.
Right.
So it's like if you talk to them 1 month and say, hey, look, you know, it's like I'm kind of looking for this stuff. Do you have any of that? Can you bring it the next time there's a show? They're more than happy to bring it, and then you'll have some stuff as well as start building some relationships with some of the people in the business.
Right, right, and that's exactly right. And a lot of the reason why I don't bring a lot of bullion is because that stuff's heavy. You know, hundreds of ounces of silver when I'm doing the load in and load out by myself, you know, can make a pretty good difference in the amount of stuff I'm carrying. So, but again, that's just personal for me. I don't know what part of the country you're in. I don't know what your local shop situation is like. I don't know what your local show situation is like. But I know that with us, I haven't necessarily noticed that's that is completely the case. So I wish I had a little more in-depth answer, but it's hard to say.
Well, I thought that was pretty well answered. So thanks for writing to us again, Jim.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
Our next question comes from Andrew Edelman. Hey, Matt and Mike, I've been listening to your radio broadcast during my morning walks with my daughter and really enjoying them. Thanks for the great content. I was wondering if you found any specific strategies for ordering your coin submission for optimal grades. I've been actively thinking about it for the past few submissions. I've generally been putting the premium quality coins at the beginning to make them think all of my coins are exceptional. I haven't done enough to have any real data, but wanted to know if you employ any strategies yourself. Thanks so much, Andrew Edelman.
Honestly, I mean, I submit a ton of coins. We're doing submissions all the time. The only strategy that I have is that I tend to not put multiple coins that are toned that may or may not be market acceptable in one order. Like, for example, I don't send one, like, 25 coin order of toned Morgan dollars because from past experience, I have seen where they will body bag an entire order because there's 4 or 5 coins in it that they think were artificial. So I tend to kind of, you know, onesie, twosie, that kind of stuff. But as far as putting premium coins in certain positions, I've never had any luck with it. Premium coins are premium coins. Unless you get this guy on the very first order he does a day, he's already looked at, you know, hundreds or thousands of coins before he gets to yours. So it's not going to influence him one way or the other by putting a nice coin up front. So
Yeah, it is not like the person that submits the coin actually influences the grade. So, with
Right.
that said, it doesn't matter how nice your first coin is as far as the grade of the last coin.
Right. Nice coins are just nice coins. They're going to stand out on their own. If you have a whole order full of nice coins, okay, that might be something that they look at and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. But, I mean, that's honestly probably the most you're going to get from somebody that sits and looks at coins all day for a living. So.
Yeah, until you start sending them stuff that's really rare, like, for example, that dime that we were talking about in the news. When that thing showed up, 56F dime, that shows up at a grading service. Everybody's in the room. Hey, let me take a look at that. Right. But, I mean, other than that, you'd be amazed at what these guys just kind of shrug off as, yeah, seen one.
Yeah.
Handled it.
That's the truth, too.
And our last question comes from a young numismatist named Isaiah.
All right.
And he says, my name is Isaiah, and I'm 14 years old. I just started listening to the show, and I've enjoyed it a lot. Well, thanks for listening, Isaiah. I've been collecting a U.S. typeset for 4 or 5 years, and I like to only collect in high grades. The coins I have left to complete times. Do you have any thoughts on what I should collect next until I get a little older and earn more money? Should I stop my typeset until then? I've been enjoying putting together this typeset a lot. Thank you.
Well, it's hard to say without knowing what you have already as to what to advise you to go with. I mean...
Well, think about the fact that, okay, he's 14 years old.
Heck so yeah. No, I love that.
Very budget limited. And that would, my suggestion to you, because I am a type collector, is that, look, if the type collecting is what appeals to you, Isaiah, then by all means, pursue that. Maybe for now, you might collect something of a little bit lesser grade. Maybe you might not buy coins quite as often because you're saving a little bit more to buy the coins that go into your set. But if you look, you can find coins out there that will be in the XF range, in the VF range, that have a lot of detail, that have a lot going for them, that you might be able to afford and round out your set and complete it. Or, maybe in the next 2 years until you start working, it's time to look at maybe a different series that you're interested in, or a specific series that you're interested in, and concentrate on that for a little while, knowing that you're going to go back to the type set collecting.
Or, if it's something on budget, I mean, maybe it's time until you get to that age where you can start earning an income to get some books and just read up on stuff and become well-armed collector. I mean, that's kind of the way I feel about it. But Mike, what I want you to do, I want you to forward me that email, because I want to hook Isaiah up with something for his typeset. I'm not sure what.
Okay.
But I want his email.
I'll send that to you.
Yep, do that. I'm going to hook him up.
That means you're going to have to go into your email account.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
Got to do what I got to do, right?
Okay. So that is set off to you. Yeah, I would definitely say that, I mean, you should collect what you like, and man, it's just so hard to find things. But I remember what I was going to say. So as far as books and things like that, the things that you can educate yourself on the best at this point, Isaiah, is find out what the really, really super rare coins are. What the most rare coins, the 1894 S dime, 1913 Liberty nickel. Find out the ones that are unique or close to unique, and study those coins for a little while, because they might give you some insight on some of the series that you haven't collected yet, and might help you to formulate your opinions on where you go with it.
Yeah, I like it. Good answer.
Thanks. So send your questions to us, questions@coinshowradio.com. That was where we got all of our questions from tonight. Questions@coinshowradio.com.
Yeah, that's a good
Send them to us. We like to answer them on the show.
Normally I post on the Friends of the Facebook group for asking for some questions, but totally forgot to do that today, so I'm glad we had some. They were good ones, too. I like that.
No, absolutely. We get a variety of questions. Now, before we get to the coolest thing.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to put a quick plug in for a book that I recently picked up.
Yeah.
see where I can. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is the Bowers series book
Okay.
on Lincoln Cent. So this is the new third edition from Whitman. It is brand new this summer. They just published the third edition, so it's updated and revised. It has data through the 2018 coins.
Cool.
Right. So this one doesn't have the 2019 W's in it or anything like that. But, one of the things that I think to guys like Isaiah, right, is one of the first books you always send people out to get is a red book.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to collect Lincoln Cents, this is the next book that I would send you out for.
Right.
And it's because of all of the information. This takes the red book and how the red book has so much basic, simple information that you just can't live without. This is different basic information that you can't live without, and just really, really cool. One of the things that I really liked about this book in particular was the story about the VDB cent. And are you really familiar with the story about the VDB cent and the subsequent missing initials entirely?
Well, I mean, I'm somewhat familiar with the story that people thought it was kind of was it vain? I think they would say that he put his initials on the back of the coin, and there was some uproar about that, so it got removed and put onto the bust. And
here's the thing that I think kind of escapes most people about that story is it wasn't like public uproar. It was really more the uproar of a specific person, and that would be Charles Barber.
That would have been my guess if you would have told me to guess.
Yeah, Charles Barber was he was something, and he did not welcome all the change that was going on at the U.S. Mint during his tenure.
Was that a pun?
No, dad joke. Sorry.
Okay.
So he was not fond of all the design changes and them taking. He had to design on the dime and the quarter and the half. It's like they were all his show, and the tradition in the hobby or in sculpting at the time was for a simple one-letter initial. Mm-hmm. So Longacre on the cent broke the long the tradition of not putting anything on there, and finally put the L on the Indian ribbon, but it had to be incorporated in the design. Mm-hmm. So the thing with the VDB cents is that when he originally designed the coin, he had put his whole name Brenner on it. And they didn't like that. So what they did was they put his initials, VDB, on the back. And when Barber really kind of lost it on this one, there was a lot of communication back and forth between him and the Secretary of the Treasury saying, it's like, this is an abomination. We need to shorten it. So what they were going to do is they were going to shorten it to just a B. And Barber wasn't having any of that because his coins were marked with a B, and he didn't want to be blamed for the Lincoln cent, which he thought to be an abomination. He just didn't like the coin at all. So what he did was he went to because the design of the VDB is raised, it's infused in the hub. You couldn't take it out of the hub, or you couldn't take it out of the
dies.
No, it's the stage before the hub.
The master.
Yeah, the master hubs.
Yeah.
So it was infused in that, so he couldn't take that out. So what he did was he went to the hubs, and he took it off the hubs, just completely ground it off. So now there is no initials on the coin whatsoever, and he started the production on it again. That was a Charles Barber thing. So it's like, and then it took, another 10 years for Brenner to get at least the VDB reinstated to the bust of Lincoln. But it was just so, that story is in this book.
That's cool.
It's really cool. It talks about all the back and forth. It shows, it literally shows pictures of, production of coins, how it's done, what they look like, 2015 D cents, literally hot off the press. They've got pictures of that, as well as guide prices for every single strike, what the optimal collecting grade is, because you always get that with Bowers, and what the key to collecting each particular year is. He goes through most of the Red Book versions, so it's got some of the the varieties in it, like the majors, but not a ton of it. It doesn't go too much into varieties. The the appendices in the back. He has an appendix in here that has all of the proposed designs
Oh, I bet that's cool.
For the 2009, the anniversary Lincoln cents, and I've always loved those. I've always loved alternative designs, and that all started with me in '76 when '74 when Coin World published the finalists for the quarter, half, and dime, and all of the designs said $quarter because that's what they were trying to.
Right.
That's what they were trying to design.
Wasn't it the dollar, the quarter, half, and the dollar in '74?
Yeah, it was the quarter. I'm sorry. Did I say dime?
You did. I was just...
Okay, yeah. So it's quarter, half, and dollar. Yeah, you did. And it's like the first place design went on the quarter, second place went on the half, third place went on the dollar. But anyways, this book is the new third edition. What's really funny is I was looking at the difference in it as far as number of pages. It's really only got about another 20 pages, but oddly,
wow.
I know I think the pages are better quality. I think that
they beefed up the stock.
They did, and it's a beautiful book. It's got pictures of matte proofs in there, how you can look at matte proofs, the different finishes, what the striking qualities of the coins, how they changed over the first couple of years, how the dies evolved from that. There's just, you want to know stuff about Lincoln Cents, this is your book, and the third edition is now available.
Where is it available at, Mike? If people
it's available at Whitman.com for $19.95.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah.
I love it, actually. I'm going to have to get a copy of that. That sounds like a fun book to read.
Yeah, the Bowers edition books or the Bowers series. They if you're going to collect a series and there's a Bowers series on it, go buy it. That's just money well spent.
Yep. Cool.
Speaking of cool.
Cool. Did you say cool?
Yeah, now he gets it. Good. Well, you said cool first.
Oh, you're right. I love it. Well, this is not necessarily something that walked into the shop. Again, it walked in with the mailman, so technically that counts in my book. But it is something I actually bought on Facebook, believe it or not. And it's a really cool piece. It is a very historical piece and actually ties into a lot of the cool stuff we were talking about on the news.
Is it from the Central America?
It is from the Central America. But not only...
None of that was planned.
No, actually...
I want everybody to know, none of that stuff was planned.
Nope.
It's like I had those bits of the news and it just kind of tied together.
Mike
cool.
gives me the news, the links to the websites for the news, and I don't give him jack squat on the coolest thing, because normally I decide about 10 minutes before the episode what it is.
Give away your trade secrets.
Well, just honesty, my friend. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and pop a picture up for all the people to see on the video here, but it is a really, really cool pair of items. And the items consist of a bound newspaper. You know how newspapers do their yearly bindings, where they put every art or every. Well, I guess you probably.
Oh yeah, they publish an actual book.
They publish
with all of their editions.
Right, exactly. So this particular piece came with a bound 1857 year newspaper of Frank Leslie's illustrated newspaper from New York City from the year 1857. So it has nearly every article of the newspaper from 1857. And in some of these articles, especially say the one on October 3rd, 1857, it actually chronicles the sinking of the SS Central America, the plight of the people on board, also some of the folks who were lost on the ship. It talks about the rescue attempts. It talks about all sorts of things that happened. And the cool part is they are actually illustrated. So the picture I have up right now shows a swamping of the SS Central America with people being washed into the sea as it sinks. But the really neat part is actually the coin. And the coin itself is a Chilean 1855 50 centavos. This coin has an eagle on the front with the date 1855 underneath it. It is in a Global Certification Services holder, which they're old school. Yep. And at the top it says recovered treasure from SS Central America. And on the reverse of the coin is actually a really cool story about these particular coins and these Chilean centavos. Now, most of the coins on the ship could not be attributed to anybody. But the Chilean 50 centavos actually have a name associated with those particular coins because there was really only one person on the ship that would have had them.
So one person from Chile?
Yes. So I'm going to read you what it says on the back of this. And it'll give you kind of the story of these particular coins. So it says, 50 centavo. When gold was discovered in California in 1848, people quickly realized the fastest route to the gold fields was through Panama. Steamship routes from Panama and New York were filled with eager entrepreneurs from around the globe in search of a better way of life. On September 3rd, 1857, one such Chilean merchant boarded the ill-fated Central America to return to his homeland, eager to show off his new wealth accumulated during the gold rush era. Unfortunately, Mr. Pascual Esquera, traveling in first class on the steamer, did not make it home. The Chilean 50 centavo contained here is one of some 2,500 recovered from the trunks in the storage hold of the SS Central America. So, This is one of 2,500 pieces that was in Mr. Esquera's possessions that went down with the ship.
His personal effects.
Yes, his personal effects that went down with the ship, along with him.
So 50 centavos.
Yeah, it's about the size of a $0.50, 50 cent, about the same as a 50-cent piece.
Okay.
And on the front of the holder, too, there is actually a picture, I believe, of where his box is where they recovered these particular coins at from the Central America shipwreck. So
is it your contention that since these are attributable, at least generally attributable to a specific passenger, that might give them a little bit more cachet?
Oh, sure. I mean, from what is probably arguably the greatest shipwreck of all time, as far as historical importance in our particular hobby, of course, I think that gives it a little more, a little more clout in the collecting community because, this is a super famous shipwreck. We've talked about two things tonight that have come up from this shipwreck just in the last few years. They're still pulling stuff off the shipwreck. So to have something neat like this associated with that shipwreck, especially something you can attribute to one person, that just piques my neat factor. So that's the coolest thing that walked in with my mailman.
Yeah, with your mailman. So what are your plans for it?
I have no idea yet. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it was one of those Matt impulse buys because it's cool. Okay,
but the coin it's graded?
No. It's in like a.
Well, it's in a grading, an old school grading service.
Yeah.
But is it one that you're not going to hold or you're not going to do anything with it? You're just going to kind of flip it the way it is.
I just like it the way it is. Like I said, the holder's got that cool picture of them recovering that stuff. I just think it's just super neat like it is. But the coolest part, like I said, was the actual bound issues of the newspaper. That's just so cool because you can go through and you can read on the day of, or a day or two after the wreck, there's just a little blurb in the paper that, the ship is missing, feared lost, and then a couple days later they get into, this is an issue, and then a few days later they get into, accounts of the sinking of the ship, and it's pretty interesting.
Now this is New York?
Yes, New York City, yep.
New York City. So, there's a lot of other really interesting thing going on during that year. That was the last year of, well, not the last year of Large Cents, the first year of the Flying Eagle Cents. Mm-hmm. And, there might be some stuff that you could glean in there from that legislation if it was reported.
I haven't had a lot of time to pour through it, but I suspect it's probably mentioned in there. This is kind of a very graphical newspaper. There's a lot of illustrations and stuff, so I think it's really cool. Really
well, yeah, think about it in terms of the literacy rate for the time. So, it's kind of like the USA Today for back then.
That makes sense, yeah, actually, as you say it. It's funny. But anyways, that was the coolest thing. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Now, did you know that patrons of The Coin Show get access to exclusive content available only through patreon.com? It's true. Don't miss out on the fun. Become a patron of The Coin Show at www.patreon.com/The Coin Show. So, Matt, we've goofed off for
another one bites the dust.
Yeah, we brought another one to you. Managed to find some numismatic pearls in the swine that we were thrown before. I don't know. Just looking for some kind of metaphor and couldn't find it.
Whatever you want to call it, my friend.
But anyways, we'd like to thank we'd like to thank Tony Alvarez, of course, for the music that he provides to us. Tony has been really, really generous to us throughout the years. He's given us all kinds of his personal art for us to use and us to exploit. Visit his webpage, TonyAlvarezPath.com. Also, thanks to Ernesto Aguilar.
Yep, always
for doing our Facebook. And man, what a job he does. He's also doing our Instagram page now. Or no. You're doing the Instagram page.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Matt is posting a lot more of the coolest thing kind of stuff.
I just look around my desk and say, that's cool, click.
Well, it's like, since Instagram is such a visual social media, it's like it's so much more pictures. So Matt snaps just things here and there throughout his shop, and I think that's probably a really cool thing to follow if you want to see just neat coins and stuff like that.
Yep.
I'd like to thank all of our patrons, all the people that donate and help make this show possible. And we'd also like to thank you, the listeners, without whom this entire endeavor would be entirely pointless.
That's exactly right.
You got anything else to add, Matt?
Nope.
You got nothing for us? I'm going to go out and find us another cool sponsor for next week.
Oh, man, they just keep getting better.
I'm not fire.
You're something.
Well, it's like you get thumbtacks and everybody else just lines up. I'm telling you. So for The Coin Show, I'm Mike.
And I'm Matt.
And we'll talk to you next time on The Coin Show.